The following presentation is brought to you by Heart Radio Group.
Capturing the moments that make life great. Let's go, girls.
It's about growing personally and professionally.
What's the one thing that really drives you, that really drives your passion?
It's about climbing the ladder or opening a new door.
Too many people give up too early on their dream.
It's about enjoying your professional journey.
I enjoy what I do.
It's about keeping things real.
So the interviewer is an interviewing the interviewer. I like this.
It's all about you.
But I knew that there was something else I wanted to do with my life. I knew I wanted to help people.
This is Up or Out with Connie Fife.
You love your voice. You need to be on radio.
And now, your host, Connie Fife.
Hello, this is Connie Fife, your Unstoppable Diva, and you're listening to Up or Out with Connie. I'm so excited to have so many wonderful listeners out there. We are reaching 2 million listeners, and that's on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher, Sirius XM, the C-Suite Network, and over 900 stations around the globe. We are we're booming at the seams, and it's all because of you, all because of our listeners, and everything that you give us. And I just want to thank you for that, because without you, we wouldn't be here. And remember to always send in and give me your feedback. Let me know if there's different themes, different contents, different topics that you want to hear about. Just shoot me a note and say, hey, Connie, I want to know if I should wear short hair or long hair in the boardroom. And we could cover that. That's okay. But let us know. Let us hear from you, because when we hear from you, we will respond. Not to worry, we got you covered. Now, the other thing we have going on is head over to the Facebook group, because we have really exciting giveaways that we have going on. We've been reaching out to some customers, some clients, and we have some giveaways that are coming your way. But how to get them is you need to go to our Facebook group, Up or Out Network. And when you see an episode of the Up or Out with Connie launched, I want you to type in the box, hashtag Unstoppable Together. That's it. Hashtag Unstoppable Together. Just type it into an episode of Up or Out with Connie. Let us know that you're listening. Let us know what you want to hear about. And we have a lot of goodies coming your way. So this is our morning brew with a business boost. And we're bringing it all to you. We want to share. We want to help you scale your business, because we know so many of you have a desire to move up in the boardroom. You want to be heard in the boardroom, or you are dreaming of becoming an entrepreneur, dreaming of entrepreneurship, and you might need to scale your business. We're here for you. We got you covered. These are the guests that we are bringing in here. Top-notch experts in areas of business and marketing and who knows? Let me see what else. Finance, accountability, all of that. We have you covered. We want to have you right here. So the quote for today is, do something today that your future self will thank you for. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. Have you ever done something, maybe you were younger, in college or in your 20s, and you've done something and you thought to yourself, well, that was really dumb. And then now when you think about it and you look back, maybe you're thanking yourself for that dumb thing that you did, because you learned from that and you're no longer doing that and you're doing something much different, maybe some other dumb things. But remember to do something today that your future self will thank you for. Now, our challenge question is, what kind of business would you start if you could start anything? Anything, unlimited capital, the ultimate skill set, unlimited resources. What kind of business would you start if you could start something today? Well, think about that. We're going to head into sponsor break, and we'll be right back with today's guest. Hi, this is Connie Fife, your Unstoppable Diva, your host of Up or Out with Connie. I am thrilled to be a headline show on C-Suite Network, where you can grow your brand, grow your tribe, and be unstoppable. We are the hottest podcast for entrepreneurs, C-level executives, and market leaders. And you can hear me each week right here on the C-Suite Network. Also on Conscious Business Network, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, SiriusXM, and over 900 stations around the globe. Be sure to follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks for listening. Be bold, be connected, and be unstoppable. We're back and you're listening to Up or Out with Connie. Now it is time to turn up the volume because right now I am introducing you to our guest who is co-author of the Amazon bestseller book, Fearless Leaders. Over 30 years, he has been a high-performance executive coach, speaker who accelerates individuals and organizations in attaining their visions and dreams. He's also now I had to read this several times. He's a mentally coached a professional sports team. We need to clarify that one there. What's the
typo there?
I was like, is this a typo?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll clarify that one.
I think I wrote that for you about 11:30 last night.
Okay, all right, we got it now. So he's coached professional teams, Olympic teams, in the art of creating thoughts and emotions. I guess it's around mentally. That maximizes success. He's a professional speaker, high performance leadership, mindful power, and master fears. Dr. T.C. North. Please explain that one to us.
Yeah, all the good stuff, and I'm dyslexic and I can't spell. Apparently, I can't type either.
And I read it a couple of times. I was like, okay, see if I can decipher this one.
I just want to challenge you a little bit, Connie.
All right, yeah, the challenge was on. Well, you've been also featured on TV and radio, and you've written for many scientific journals, and you also contribute to Huffington Post. I want to know how, though, because I've been trying to get into Huffington Post. They haven't called me back yet.
I wrote directly to Adriana when she was still there, and we shared the fearless concept. She wrote a book with Fearless Leader, or Fearless in the title, and I wrote one. So I just talked about that, and she responded within 24 hours. Okay,
I have sent her a message, but yes, she is focused on Thrive now.
She's
so
no longer there, though, so it's a different process.
Right. Yeah. Definitely a different process, but I'll keep trying.
Yeah.
Never give up.
And Connie, I don't remember exactly what the sentence was about, but I think it was probably about my career started by mentally coaching elite athletes. I've mentally trained 31 individual Olympians, a couple Olympic teams, a professional sports team. I turned around a professional sports team in 2 weeks once, which was one of the highlights of my career.
Well, thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. That's the mental stuff.
Okay. So why is it so important to develop personal power and mindfulness simultaneously? So what's the impact of that?
Oh, I love that question. That's one of my favorite questions of all time. So there's some new neural research that essentially says the normal response of one's brain is as you increase positional power. So you're climbing the corporate ladder, you're becoming an entrepreneur, and now you're leading a bunch of people and you have lots of responsibility.
Right.
And the normal response in the brain when you study mirror neurons is that you actually decrease your empathy and your mindfulness.
Okay.
That was a mind blower to me when I read that. And then
I believe that, though, because I did so much research on the study of people. I actually have to admit that I became very not liking people. The easiest way to put it. Yeah, I would tell people, like, I don't like people.
Well, we've heard all our lives, right? That power corrupts.
That's right.
And power, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Right.
So that piece of research, again, is pretty early research, and so I don't want to stake too much on it, but it's kind of a more beta testing research, if you will, or pilot research, because it's hard to study the brain at that level. But we all have experienced that. You've been CEO of the Girl Scouts, and you were the director of the Chamber and U.S. Chamber, and you've had all these really powerful positions. So my guess is you've seen that happen where people actually become less mindful as they gain power. Would that be correct?
They do. That was one of my biggest pet peeves, actually, because Yeah, I mean, even for me, and it gets to the point where it's not that for me, it wasn't like being in power, but I've seen so many people like, that they're in power and it starts to where they're not looking at people as people that are helping them serve and increase and make the organization better, but they're really looking at them as almost like an assembly line. We need to get this done. You need to get this done. You need to get this done. And you just keep rolling it through. And, the next thing you know, well, you missed somebody's birthday and now they're all pissed off at you. But I try to be really good. I got an assistant to tell me, let me know when it's somebody's birthday. Yeah. But it is so true. Probably the biggest example of that. Now, I do, and I always did agree to jumping in and helping my team, supporting the team if we're in crunch time. And I was at the U.S. Chamber, and now, again, I'm director of the Chamber, and we were going on this 5-day trip across the U.S., like 10 states in 5 days, like on the plane, off the plane, ask for money, back on the plane. So we had our team, doing research of all the companies that we were doing. I mean, they're late at night. We're in D.C. So the one night I thought, well, let me go grab a couple trays of pizza. I'll come in, I'll help. We were there like to 2 o'clock in the morning, pulling, all of this together. And I had to be on a plane like 7 a.m. or something crazy. I actually got reprimanded for stepping in to help my team. That is not the behavior of a leader.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that really put a sour taste in my mouth because I thought as a leader, if we cannot be here to help our people, who are we? We're not just here to sit in the pearly, fancy chair in our office. We need to step in to get the job done.
Yeah, I like that about you. Yeah. So I want to share the good news of this story.
Okay.
This research. That was the first piece that was published. Then there was a follow-up study, different group, but he pretty much replicated the same study with, creating power in the laboratory, a more powerful position. But he took a different group of subjects. And the subjects he used this time, instead of being the typical person, whatever that is, these were people who he called pro-social. And so to me, when you read that definition, it really means that they're mindful of others. So
okay.
They were already mindful.
Right.
And so, Connie, what do you think happens when you increase the positional power, the authority of somebody who's already mindful?
Somebody who's already mindful, I would hope they take that with them.
Yeah.
And that they have a higher level of mindfulness.
You're right, ma'am.
Okay. I scored today.
You did. Yeah. So again, it was sort of added to the mind-blowingness of this research. It's like the normal response is you get corrupt, but if you're already mindful, you actually become more mindful. So the folks I'm working with now, we're really committed to developing personal power because with more personal power, you gain more, usually leadership power. But the personal power includes mindfulness, and simultaneously in the leadership training, you have to teach mindfulness as well as develop one's personal power.
So in today's corporate space, the business landscape, it's so diverse. It is so complex. So how do you work with, let's say, an old school organization, an old school leader who knows that they need to change in order for that business to create their sustainability for long term? How do you get that person or that team to understand the mindfulness and really being there for their people and supporting their people and being there from behind, as they say, rather than pushing them from the top?
Well, for one thing, I don't do a lot at that level of company. I do a lot of small, medium-sized businesses.
Okay.
Regardless of who the leader is, this has to come through the leader. This is not a grounds up effort because it has to come from the leader, has to be supported by the leader. And it happens pretty easily when the leader is really bought in, and that's usually through the leader's experience.
Okay.
So if the leader has been working on how to be mindful and has really good emotional control and has worked with his or her own mind, then it's real. They want to grab hold. It's like, oh, please help me take this through the cult.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you answer the question because it's really the small to mid-size, I think, that are, to me, and from my experience, they are more open and mindful that changes do need to happen in order to stay sustainable. I do some work, in large corporations, but I've really been pulling it back because I'll be honest with you, I have a frustration point. And I also have a breaking point. I'm like, all right, if you're not going to get this, I'm out. I mean, that's really my attitude, which gets me in trouble sometimes. But if they're not going to buy into it, then why bring me in, or somebody like even you, if they're not going to do anything? So I would rather work with an organization, again, small to mid-size, really, where they're going to be open for that. And I love how I was looking at some of your information that you build rock solid courage and confidence to develop high level of mindfulness. The Girl Scout mission is build girls of courage, confidence, and character.
Oh, yes. I didn't know I was a good Girl Scout.
Like, oh, he must have been a Girl Scout.
That's between us, Connie.
All right, we won't share that with anybody. And I use courage and confidence too in everything I do because I'm just used to saying it, and I just repeat it. And that's a great mission where somebody could repeat it even 11 years later after they're no longer there. Just slide right off your tongue. So then for this, neuropsychology and this research, and that normal response in the brain, and so what is it that would capture a small to mid-sized organization to say, hey, we really need to take a look at this. We need to maybe shift our thinking and turn this around. What is the best process that you would take them through for that to happen?
Well, if I may, the point before the process is kind of what data do I have that might make this useful to the organization? Okay. So if you look at my high performance model is 3 levels. One is mastering fear, because if you don't do that, it gets in the way of everything. And that's literally the lower part of your brain and the mid part of your brain. Okay. Then if you go to the mid part of the brain and the higher part of the brain, the cerebral cortex, that's where you deal with emotion. And then the prefrontal cortex is called the executive brain. That's the most important part of the brain for the people that you and I work with, executives, entrepreneurs, high-end salespeople. This is the part of the brain right here that has to be at their best. And frontal cortex. And so mindfulness actually develops it. It strengthens it. And there's specific techniques that can strengthen it. But here's the kicker, is the prefrontal cortex is blocked by the hormone cortisol. Cortisol is called the stress hormone. Right. The more stress you're under, the more cortisol you release. Right. And so if you take that concept, and what's important to an executive, they need to be creative, they need to be innovative, they need to be visionary, they need to be able to think and connect dots that other people can't. That's what makes a great leader, right? Right. So this part of the brain has to be available. So one of the parts that leaders glom onto is the stress reduction effect of mindfulness training. Okay. One of the best studies I've seen was on ICU nurses. And simple 8-week program, nothing very difficult. They reduced their stress response in life and death situations by 40%. Wow. So, and
that's a lot.
It's a lot. And, that's not a fabricated stress. That's literally life and death these people are dealing with on a day-to-day.
Yes. Wow. Now, do you do this on an individual basis, or is it within a group or within a team process? How does that happen?
A lot of my work is individual.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I do. I'm known for my executive coaching. And what's great, though, is if I get to work with a leader and they start working with this stuff, then they want it in their company. Yes. So that's usually how I get into the company, is through the individual work with a leader.
Cool. Well, we need to take another commercial break. We have another sponsor we need to recognize. And when we come back, Dr. T.C. North, we're putting you in the hot seat.
Hi, this is Greg Davis. Connie asked me to pop in for a moment to tell you about a great opportunity. Have you ever listened to a podcast and thought, I should be doing that, but I don't know how, I don't know where to start? Well, Up or Out with Connie Fife has partnered with Park Lane Media Group to offer you PMR podcast production. What is PMR? Production, marketing, response. The three key elements you need to successfully build your podcast success. For more information, visit parklanemediagroup.com or email podcast@parklanemediagroup.com and be sure to let them know that Connie sent you. You have a story to tell. We'll help you share it. Come to parklanemediagroup.com today and start building your podcast success.
All right, we are back and you are listening to Up or Out with WCONNIE. And today we are chatting with Dr. T.C. North about high performance leadership and that mindfulness that builds a rock solid courage and confidence and develop that high level of mindfulness with your team, with your people, with your customers, and with your family and friends. I mean, it just, goes out beyond that. So, TC, this is now our hot seat segment where we've learned about the business. Now we want to learn about you. We want some good gossip. So,
you didn't tell me about this.
This is the surprise part.
Yeah.
So, if you are ready.
What if I'm not?
Well, too bad. It's pretty easy. It's not too.
I'm just kidding.
It's not too harmful to you. Okay. What is your favorite quote? I'm going to say, what is your favorite leadership quote?
The time is always right to do what is right by Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes. So, did you know what you wanted to do right from the start?
Oh no, my path has been so circuitous, but my path has included psychotherapy to high performance psychology, or even began working with developmentally disabled kids. But I've always been a teacher, and if you look at my Myers-Briggs, I'm an INFJ, which is the label is the counselor.
Okay.
So I say I didn't choose my profession; it just chose me.
It chose you. It's interesting. You said you work with special kids. My daughter does too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's an administrator of a special needs school in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she has no kids of her own. So she gets enough.
That's enough. Yeah, all her energy at school.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, so all business leaders start somewhere, and we all have failures. So, what is a failure that has led you down the road to your success?
Oh. So, the number one secret in my book is the courage to fail in order to succeed.
That's right.
Yeah. So what's a failure that's led to my success? Yeah. All right, here's one. So being an introvert, learning to speak took a lot of work for me. And I did a lot of training to become a speaker. I think you're probably more natural and you've been doing it successfully a long time. But I remember early in my career, I had some early success. I was in wellness. It was back in the early 80s. Okay. And I was teaching about exercise and diet and stress, and people were loving it because it was all brand new stuff. And I was having fun with it. And then I heard a humorist one night. And so my next presentation, which was to about 100 police women,
okay,
I decided to be a humorist.
Didn't go over too well, as you say.
It was a 90-minute presentation. There was no planned break. At 45 minutes, I gave them a break just so everybody who really wanted to leave could. And like half the people did.
Oh, yeah. I've had a few of those. So.
Yeah.
I actually ended up going to improv.
Oh, nice.
I do improv and I do acting classes.
Oh, excellent.
That has helped me tremendously because I used to be an introvert. And you would never know that today. It has changed. That has flipped. I definitely flipped that one. Uh-huh. So, okay. So that would led you down to the success of keep going, not stopping.
Well, the success was learn to be yourself.
Right. Learn to be yourself. Exactly.
Yeah. And I did learn how to tell stories, and I've learned, I've studied speaking, so hopefully I'm a much better speaker. But it's from the heart. It's authentic. I am who I am. And,
right.
And I'm actually kind of more of who I am when I'm on stage, because I'm not so introverted. I just really kind of let it out.
Let yourself out there. That is so awesome. And a lot of speakers need to hear that, especially, some people come right out of the gate. They're very natural. But there are some who do not. And I was one of those who did not. And I always had it in me. But as a child, again, because a lot of what you've talked about, I talk about as well in my training. And I talk about our DNA, the environment we were raised in, or something that had happened in our life. Well, my childhood formed me to become an introvert. So when I found my voice, it was there, and it's out there now. It's definitely out there now. But that's part of that too, that triad of what creates who we are. So, and that's what happened. That's definitely what happened to me. And again, my failure was not speaking. And then when I finally did, that really led me to my success of what I do today. So, what would you call call your aha moment? That moment you said, I got this. This is exactly what I'm doing.
So kind of different part of the path, the coaching career and the counseling path. I remember I was sitting at a light. It was 30th Street in Valmont in Boulder, Colorado, which is where I was living, and I live just outside of Boulder now. And I was in the left-hand turn lane, and I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I realized I'm okay enough to be a therapist. And it's like I had to heal myself enough. And it was just like somebody was speaking to me. It's like, you're okay enough to be a therapist. And I hung out my shingle, and I had a great practice right from the start.
Well, I just want you to know, I just had a layer of tingling and goosebumps go right through me. So it's true. I don't know why that just happened. It just happened.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so that red light, and it's true. Everybody go to that red light at the corner of in Boulder, Colorado.
I've been through it hundreds of times since. Nothing. It was a one-time deal.
Okay. But if you want to try to find your calling, go to there.
Yeah.
So what words of wisdom would you give to someone maybe, starting out, or they're in a career, because they say we change careers. The average person changes careers 7 times.
Yeah.
It's not like it used to be. One time you got the gold watch and that was that. But so what would you say to someone that's trying to figure out, besides go to that red light in Boulder, Colorado, what should they do to get really clarity, find that courage, find that confidence to pursue their path?
I often take, and then again, you ask good questions. I read that you're a great listener, but you're also a great questioner. And, yeah, I guess that's why you do so well in your podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's an internal process that I think is important, and there's an external process, and too many people do one or the other.
Okay.
The internal process is, what are your passions? Just simply, what are all your passions? And you write them all out, and you get them all out, you record them somewhere. And then what are your competencies? And what could be an easy competency, not to go back to school for 4 or 6 or 8 years maybe, but maybe do some workshops, do some reading, do some training to develop and really understand all of what you already have in terms of your passions and your competencies.
Yes.
That's the internal part. And then you go external and you look, okay, so what does the market say with all those things? What does the market say I want and I will buy and I'm interested? And there's people out there go, yeah, I want that. And one of my favorite lines, and I wish I could credit this person. It was an NSA person in Colorado. He was on stage, but I've forgotten who it was exactly. Talking about passion and how everybody's like, at Boulder, we're famous for this. Just pursue your passion, man. And he goes, I believe in that, but nobody's offered to pay me for drinking margaritas on the beach yet.
That's a good way to put it.
Isn't that a great way to put it?
That's certainly a good way to put it.
So that's why the market's important. And then the other piece is then once you do the whole market, so what part of the market would pay the best for something that fits the internal pieces?
And by the way, I was one of those that went back to school after Girl Scouts left me. And because I didn't have my master's degree. And one of the comments made to me was they hired someone with a PhD and I didn't have that high of an education. Okay. I'll fix you. I went back to school and not only did I get a master's degree, I got a double master's degree. I was like, I fix them. I got a lot of debt.
Are you one of those overachiever types?
Well, you think?
Possibly, Connie.
Possibly. But that was a lesson, though, for me after I got all of that. And then I started reapplying to positions to be CEO of associations, even COO of associations. I'd get down to a final candidate. The COO told me I was overqualified. The others, I didn't get hired. And so I thought, well, fine, I'll just start my own business. So, call it a failure, call it what you will. But I turned around after that. I thought, you know what? It gave me a gift to take inventory of the skills that I had to offer. I was able then to turn that around, not just to help people in business, but it's really just like you. It's all about high performance. It's about the individual. And then when the individual succeeds, the company will succeed. Yeah. And the high performance model I work with is easily applicable to both individuals and companies. And for the companies too. So how could people find out more about you?
Easy way is the website, tcnorth.com, NORTH.
tcnorth.com.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for being here. You've been awesome. I love chatting with you. I love to have you back again. There's so much more that we could just talk about because we're talking the same language.
Oh, yeah. I am all in on that anytime, Connie.
Especially, like I said, I went deep into research about people and behaviors. And so, start talking about the amygdala, the left brain, right brain. I get weird about all that stuff.
You're one of those neuroscience geeks too.
Yes, I am a neuroscience geek.
I like it.
I really do get into it. So again, thank you for being here, Dr. T.C. North, an author, speaker, podcaster, just an extraordinarily gentleman of a man. And I want to thank you for being here today.
Absolutely my honor, Connie. Thank you.
And to everyone listening out there, thank you for being part of the Up or Out with Connie community. And remember, head over to Up or Out Network on Facebook, join our Facebook group. And when you see the episodes listed in, that big long list of posts there, type in #Unstoppable Together, and you are going to get our daily motivational information that's going to help you build your business, scale your business, most importantly, help you become a high performer. Thank you for being here. And if you can also subscribe to our iTunes page, our Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, because that's going to keep us going. That's going to keep us growing. And we want to definitely, I'm saying we're close to 2 million, but we want to hit that 2 million by the end of this year. And you can help us get there. And be sure to share us with your friends as well so they're listening too. So Up or Out, it's your choice. So if there is anything else that you could be doing today to make a difference, to get different results, what would that be? This is Connie Fife, your Unstoppable Diva. And until next time, be bold, be connected, and be unstoppable together.